Hello, everyone. Welcome to Agriculture, Sovereignty, and Resilience Infrastructure Act. We'll be talking today about protecting land, water, and seeds, invest in community-owned hubs, pay farmers as environmental stewards. And our team is quite international, so we decided to focus those policies on Ukraine, Molokai, and South Cotswolds. So, oh, why is it not changing the slide? Okay, here we go. So our mission is to protect and restore land, water, and seeds by investing community-led resilience infrastructure so every community can feed itself with dignity, regenerate ecosystems, preserve culture, and withstand conflicts, climate, and market shocks. Well, imagine a world where you can go into a grocery store and you don't have to choose between 10 different kinds of apples that actually look the same, worrying that there will be pesticides and wax on them, and telling your kid not to touch this apple because the other one is better. What if we don't have to worry about if it's organic or where it was grown? What if we have sovereignty over our food and the water that we drink from the tap is clean and fresh, and we don't have to be concerned about our children in the future drinking and eating food in our regions? And so also why we wanted to touch upon that. Well, first of all, in Ukraine, there's mined and contaminated fields, which makes export blockages and small meat farms at risk. Also in Ukraine, something that I was really fascinated, well, hurt by actually, is that the fact that Ukraine is running low on certain seeds, and those seeds are being sold to them premium. Premium companies are taking advantage of Ukraine, and you know which company sells them seeds? Monsanto. And I'm pretty sure you're all very well aware of it, this organization. Then Molokai, plantation degraded soil, and 85% food imports, high import costs. So basically, they don't have enough food locally. Their soil is degraded, so they have to import food. Once again, it's very expensive, so they feel like they're reliant, and the economy is not also suffering because of that. And then also South Cotswolds, farm consolidation pressure, climate floods, drought, and loss of skills. So we took and then US food sovereignty is a right. When one breadbasket fails, prices and hunger ripples globally. So basically, us taking care of it's like, this, like when we take care of ourselves, we can take care of the community. So here we are, how we can take care of each individual country and also in each individual region, providing sovereignty and independence that can have a ripple effect, and then we can have shared foods, and the whole system will work more smoothly. And why now? It's because of the war, climate, and consolidation. So it's time to redesign food systems today. And I'm going to pass it on now to Tehani.
Wonderful. Now that we've seen why this issue matters across Ukraine, Molokai, and the Cotswolds, let's talk about the urgent needs we must address. We must protect farmland from being lost to war, to development, or to corporate takeover. We need to heal soils that damaged by plantations, war, and industrial farming so they can sustain life for generations to come. Seed sovereignty means saving and sharing our own seeds so communities aren't trapped by high-priced imports or corporate control. Too many communities lack the basics: storage, processing, cold chain, and renewable backup, and that leaves food systems dangerously fragile. Mined and contaminated fields combined with blocked exports show just how fragile the system is. Food sits in abundance in one place while people go hungry elsewhere, and economies destabilize in the process. Farmers are not just producers of food, they're environmental stewards. Policy must compensate them for protecting water, soil, and biodiversity. Next slide. When we pair rights with real infrastructure, we can turn those urgent needs into lasting solutions. Imagine if land, water, and seeds were treated not as commodities, but as public goods, protected for everyone. Picture community-owned resilience hubs with seed banks, storage, processing, training, and renewable energy all under one roof. In this vision, soils regenerate, biodiversity returns, and young people step into cultural and farming pathways. When war halts exports, there can be an abundance of food with nowhere to go. Farmers struggle, people go hungry, and economies ripple with instability. Local sovereignty ensures that food feeds communities first, even when trade routes collapse. And with sovereignty and hubs in place, local markets stabilize, families feed themselves with dignity, and global food systems become less fragile. Next slide. So how do we actually get there? Our theory of change is a pathway from fragility to resilience. First, we must protect land, water, and seeds with anti-speculation laws. Second, we restore soils through remediation, demining, and regenerative practices. Third, we invest in community-owned resilience hubs and seed banks powered by renewables to withstand crises. Fourth, we empower farmers with training, fair credit, and payments for the ecological services they provide. Fifth, we localize supply chains with procurement policies. That way, food doesn't go to waste when exports collapse, and communities become less dependent on fragile global markets. And finally, we reinforce sovereignty by locking resilience into policy and local economies so it endures even through war, climate, and disruption. But how does this actually come to life on the ground? For that, I'll hand it over to Mike, who will walk us through the strategy. Mike?
Thanks, Tehani. We're going to focus on 5 areas in our approach. Land zoning, how community land trusts, easements, and preemptive rights can help protect the sovereignty of local communities. Community hubs, strengthening those communities and really enabling them to be the center of where seed libraries, renewable power, clean water, and soil are produced locally. Farm sovereignty, really enabling farms to leverage new technology and policy to track the soil and their carbon, the water quality, and overall environment that they're able to produce food in. Knowledge pooling, obviously community centers going all the way back to the very first one, really facilitate knowledge transfer farmer to farmer and to the local community. And then market engagement to bring local efforts, tap national and subnational markets. Our 3 examples are in Ukraine, Kovalov, and Molokai. And on this slide, we kind of illustrate some of the net of local organizations that we would reach out to enact the strategy. Next slide, please. So our finance plan for both Ukraine, Molokai, and South Kovalov, 3 of the case studies that we're really leaning into, each have 5-year development cycles that are appropriately sized to the location. And achieving the support for these communities would really be through a blend of public grants listed below and different revenue and savings opportunities. And Ekaterina, did you, there's another slide that just had a bioeconomy image. Is that on the next slide or is this collapsed? Okay, never mind.
Wait, is it? Yeah, I don't see it.
I had uploaded it like 10 minutes ago. But jumping back into the presentation, in each one of these communities, we believe that they can become the center of a bioeconomy and circular economy. And in doing so, it enables farms to both produce the food, fuel, and fiber that they can, but do so in a sovereign way. And all 3 of these local efforts we see bubbling up, especially after a 5-year period, to national renewable fuels and soil programs. We've illustrated to the right some national biofuels policies that currently exist and their market size. And we hope that our project can really create a conversation between the local communities and local efforts and these larger national fuels policies. And that's it for me. Off to Yurii.
Thank you, Mike. This timeline shows how our initiative grows step by step, from laying the groundwork to scaling across the region. Let me walk you through our timeline. In the first year, we will focus on laying the foundation, securing across sites, patents from legal protection in place, clearing and remandating the land, launching seed banks, and setting up emergency storage facilities. Moving into years 2 and 3, our priority shifts to growth and capacity buildings. We will build and retrofit hubs, provide comprehensive farmer trainings, introduce outcome-based payments, and activate public procurement programs. During years 4 and 5, we'll focus on scaling up, expanding hubs and markets, integrating our efforts with national strategies, and sharing our progress through published impact dashboards. Finally, in years 6 and 7, we will replicate this successful model across the island chain, bringing the benefits to peer islands and creating a sustainable, long-lasting impact. Next slide.
Hello guys, I want to speak about unique credibility. This section highlights what makes our approach unique and credibility and global relevant. Now let's talk about what makes our approach unique and credible. First, we connect right with real, tangible action, not just symbolic promises or abstractive technology. Second, soil restoration and seed sovereignty are at the head of our model, at the heart of our model. They help reduce corporate dependency and protect cultural heritage. Third, we empower farmers and environmental entrepreneurs, recognizing and rewarding them for their role in rebuilding ecosystem. And finally, our approach is replicated. It works in diverse contexts, from war-affected regions and to islands and rural heritage areas, and carries lessons with global relevance. Thank you. And next to Rose. Slide, please.
You'll see here that we've identified key stakeholders in each of the regions. This list will probably expand. It's especially important that we enlist stakeholders all the way down to the grassroots. When it comes to resilience, small is beautiful and local is golden. And finally, as we look at this map of our pilot sites, I'd like to invite you to imagine the world we could create if this policy were embraced everywhere. A world where every country, every community has the power to feed itself. A world where we protect and restore our land, our water and our seeds, the very foundations of life. A world where food miles are fewer, our carbon footprint is lighter, and the bond between people and land is renewed. A world where heirloom species, uniquely tied to their habitats and cultures, are preserved, enriching both ecosystems and identity. These pilots show what's possible, but they're only the beginning. With vision and vigour, we can build resilience infrastructure that helps communities to regenerate ecosystems, to preserve culture and withstand conflict, climate and market shocks. The seeds are planted. Now it's time to grow the future we need.
Thank you.